Next on Worcester News tonight, a rescue in Rutland. Officers find an elderly woman stuck in a swamp. Plus, the city goes green. St. Patrick's Day celebrations are taking place across the city. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. We begin tonight with Worcester's mayor and congressman once again formally denouncing President Donald Trump's immigration policy. Mayor Joseph Petty and Congressman James McGovern sent a joint letter to the president opposing his executive orders on immigration and asking President Trump to rescind them. The letter was also signed by more than 1,000 people from Worcester and the surrounding area who attended a January pro-immigration rally outside City Hall. The letter, dated March 3rd, reads in part, "Turning our backs on the innocent women, children, and families desperate to escape violence is not only callous and wrong, it is deeply un-American." Members of Worcester State House delegation, 3 city councilors, and 5 members of the school committee also signed the letter. Police officers in Rutland rescue a woman after noticing her footprints in the snow. Officers on their way to another call noticed the woman's car parked by the Mass Central Rail Trail and thought something may be wrong. Our Cam Jandro explains.
This is where 2 Rutland police officers noticed a car parked at the entrance of the rail trail. It prompted them to walk into the woods through deep snow to investigate before eventually finding a woman in her 70s stuck in a swamp.
Tracks leading in, but no tracks leading out. So this sparked their curiosity, and they went in to make sure that there was no one injured. As they got about 1.5 miles in, they split up, and they were calling to each other, "Did you see anything?" And then a woman called out and said, "Help me."
Chief Donald Hapikowski says tracks on the trail are rare this time of the year, so the officers knew somebody needed help.
As they got closer to her, they noticed that she had been submerged in the water and was holding on to a tree, and she was hypothermic. In conversation with her, she had been there about 2 hours.
Rutland firefighters had to use snowmobiles to get down the path in order to get the woman out and get her to the hospital. Residents say they're lucky to have quick-thinking first responders, especially in a case like this.
I know a couple of the police officers in the fire department, and they're great guys, and they're always super quick to help people, and I mean, she's really lucky they were there.
Police are not releasing the identity of the woman at this time. Her condition is unknown. Police say it's still unclear as to why she was walking on the rail trail at all. Olivia, back to you.
Our Cam Jandro reporting for us tonight. Thank you, Cam. A 4-vehicle crash on the Mass Pike Friday evening caused a 17-mile backup. The crash involved a tractor trailer. It happened around 4 o'clock at exit 10 on the Pike. Multiple lanes were closed. Mass State Police say there were injuries in the crash. The extent is not known at this time. The Auburn Fire Department also responded to the accident. All lanes were reopened around 6:30. Joining a growing number of universities, Worcester State is going test optional for fall 2018. The university says taking the SAT and ACT will no longer be a requirement to be accepted for most applicants. Programs such as nursing will still require students to submit scores. Beginning in the fall 2018 application period, students may choose to submit a score but will not be automatically passed over if they don't. The school says SAT and ACT scores are not very predictive of students' outcomes, and it may put some students at a disadvantage.
I believe that this change is going to allow more students to attend Worcester State than ever before. That includes students from socioeconomically disadvantaged backgrounds, students from diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds, and more students that will no longer have the SAT or ACT score as a criterion prohibiting them from entering college.
There are about 1,000 educational institutions in the country that make these tests optional or don't require them at all. Worcester State says all students will continue to be evaluated by their high school GPA and high school transcript. Whether they are Irish or not, thousands are expected to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Worcester Friday. Festivities have been happening throughout the day. The city has deep roots within the Irish community, and on this day, the wearing of green is on full display at parties this evening. Our Brittany Schaefer hit one of the hot spots and has our story.
This is where we come every year. We meet every St. Patrick's Day.
O'Connor's is probably the only place we want to go for St. Patrick's Day.
O'Connor's restaurant is a St. Patrick's Day tradition for many in Worcester. John Dooley says he's here almost every year.
I've been coming here for the past 10 or 12 years as a tradition with a friend of mine who is Italian, so it allows him to become Irish for the day.
You don't have to be Irish to celebrate the day, and there was a sea of green inside O'Connor's Friday.
If you're not Irish today, it's a terrible, terrible shame.
I'm 50% Irish.
Yes, 100%.
It's the holiday of our people.
Because everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Owner Brendan O'Connor says it's the restaurant's busiest day of the year, and he expects more than 2,000 people to come in.
Some of them will be walking in. We're not sure how much they'll be walking out.
The Irish are known for their humor and sarcasm, something O'Connor shows himself.
Oh, it gets packed. That's part of the reason why we're here so early today, because we know how crowded it gets and how hard it can be. So this is a coveted table.
We try to get this corner portion of the bar because, you know, it's prime real estate. It just becomes a madhouse, just full of people and long waits to get in.
This week, Foursquare named O'Connor's one of the top Irish pubs in the country. O'Connor says it's the authenticity behind the pub which makes it great.
There's going to be real Irish beer, real Irish whiskey, real Irish food, and a cracking good time. Lots of our Worcester County guests tell us that it's very close to what they have experienced in Ireland.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Another popular destination in Worcester on St. Patrick's Day is the Hibernian Cultural Center. Live music, corned beef and cabbage and beer filled the center Friday. This is one of the biggest fundraising events for the center. President Stacy and David Clark say they expect more than 1,200 people to celebrate at the center.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. And today we have a couple of bands here. We have the Belfast Cowboys as well as the Boston Harbor Boys later on. And food, corned beef and cabbage.
This is where Irish language classes take place. This is where we have lots of classrooms downstairs for all things Irish. So it just makes sense to come here on St. Patrick's Day. A lot of people take the day off, obviously, because to us this is a very high holiday.
And tonight's festivities were open to the public. Scary moments for firefighters battling a house fire on Moscow Road in Holden Thursday evening. Holden's fire chief says they arrived to heavy smoke and flames coming from the first and second story windows of the two-story home. More than 50 firefighters from Holden and surrounding communities battled the two-alarm fire. A mayday was sounded when a Holden firefighter fell through the second floor but was not injured. The chief says the firefighter stayed on the job. The fire is under investigation. It's a huge day for medical students across the country who are finding out where their journey will begin. Match day at UMass Medical School features a range of excitement and emotion for the students and their families. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the stories of the students who found out their match today.
After more than 8 years of study, Shomar Akwar is matched with her top choice.
Brigham and Women's Hospital!
Okwara will be a resident in internal medicine at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
I wasn't expecting it.
Okwara was one of more than 100 students at UMass Medical School who were matched with a hospital residency Friday.
If anyone was not supposed to make it, it was me, but I did. So don't give up on your dreams, no matter what people say.
Okwara is a first-generation immigrant from Kenya and started off at a community college. She says she's had a long road to this day, a journey different from her fellow students.
Just so happy to be matched at my #1 choice.
Andy Dowd will be staying in Worcester as a resident in emergency medicine. He's published a book detailing the story of medical students.
I wanted to convey to the outside world what happens inside of medical school. It's so hard to let friends and family know what happens here.
Anash Medavosian also matched at UMass Memorial in internal medicine. She has had 2 children while studying for this day.
It's been, there's always challenges being a student and a mom, but it's been wonderful.
Surrounded by her family, Akwara's mom couldn't contain her excitement as her daughter gets ready to take her next step.
Oh, I'm so excited, so proud of her. I'm really excited. I feel joy in my heart.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
Winter weather and Tuesday's big storm has the American Red Cross asking for help. They are in need of blood and platelet donors. The Worcester location runs 5 blood drives a day. Tuesday's storm forced them to cancel all of them and most scheduled for the following day. The Red Cross says they have a critical need for donors with type O negative blood. Account manager Katie Lawler says winter is always a difficult time for blood collections because of the weather.
Had a big impact from the recent snowstorm. All the blood drives, our mobile blood drives, were canceled on Tuesday. We also had quite a few that canceled on Wednesday as well. A lot of the high schools that were supposed to be running had canceled school or had delays. So over the course of the month, we've had to cancel about 150 blood drives due to weather. And just with this one past storm, we lost hundreds of units of anticipated collections.
Lawler says it's important for any donors who had to cancel their appointments due to the storm to reschedule and for new donors to stop